Welcome back guys to my channel, and today we're going to be talking and discussing which fighters will perform and fight and compete in the Matchroom versus Queensbury 5v5, which will be taking place on the undercard of the Bivol Beterbiev undisputed fight in Saudi Arabia on June 1st. So let's get straight into it. And so there's been huge speculation about which fighters will be taking place on this event, which weights will they choose, and just the other day the weight categories were announced, and they were from Frank Warren's Queensbury side. He chose the heavyweights and the middleweights. Eddie Hearn's two picks were the featherweights and the light heavyweights, and Turki Al-Sheikh, he chose the heavyweights once again. So let's get straight into those picks. Let's start off with the heavyweights. They will do the first pair, and heavily rumoured, almost confirmed, but none of the fighters are going to know who they're fighting until the press conferences, however much you believe of that and however much is already set up and predetermined with contracts. But the first heavyweight fight on this card is most likely going to be Daniel Dubois versus Filip Hrgović. Great fight straight off the bat. It was rumoured and leaked that this was going to take place. People weren't sure if it was going to be under the 5v5 rules, since Hrgović he's fought under Matchroom co-promotions, kind of a free agent, but he's fought under Matchroom, so I guess he can compete in Matchroom. And Daniel Dubois is one of Frank's best heavyweights at the moment, up-and-coming British star, has a few stumbling blocks, come back at his last fight in Saudi Arabia against Big Baby Miller and performed well. Proved a lot of doubters wrong maybe about how much bottle he had, if he still had that quit in him, and put forward a good performance, and yeah, put himself straight in line to be one of Frank's representatives in the heavyweight division. And coming up against Filip Hrgović, and what a tough test that would be for Daniel and Hrgović as well. Hrgović was also on that one of the last Saudi cards in a layup really to protect his #1 status with the IBF, which he is about to be, has been mandated for, and the IBF had told the winner of Usyk Fury that they will most likely have to vacate within a short amount of time frame and allow Hrgović, who's been the mandatory for a long time now, to fight for that. So really this could actually be a world title fight. Daniel Dubois could be in his second world title fight in 3 fights, I believe. I believe it was Usyk, and then he had the Miller, and then he could again be in a world title fight, and this time one that he could actually win. I think it's a really close fight. Hrgović has got a decent record, has some decent opponents, obviously discounting his last one. Came through Dempsey McKean, again, who Hrgović is better than though, so maybe a mismatch there. Arguably got given the decision against Zhang. Myself, I gave Zhang that decision when they fought. Well, he's got his #1 place in the IBF and now can be fighting for the belt. But Daniel Dubois is a real tough test, and I'd have Dubois going slight favourite, I think, there. I don't think Hrgović has got the power to worry Dubois, and I think Dubois has got the power to worry Hrgović. So I'd give that one to Dubois, and then it would be a 1-0 Queensbury. And so then the next heavyweight fight, again rumoured, not really Matchroom Queensbury kind of are technically, for the heavyweights, is Zhang Li against Deontay Wilder. Zhang, I believe, is Queensbury promoted now since the Joe Joyce wins, and in the promotion video for this, Turki Al-Sheikh kind of made jokey remarks, taking the mick out of Eddie about his lack of heavyweights. Obviously there's AJ, but he's not going to be in this. So he said there's a kind of free agency period, they can choose someone to represent Matchroom, and that's going to be Deontay Wilder, I'm assuming, from all the rumours and heavy speculation. And what a fight. I think you have to say what a fight. I saw a good point from someone else on Twitter the other day. We shouldn't be angry at these cards, at these matchups. Say, if this was made if this fight was made before their last 2 fights, both losses to Joe Parker, you'd think that's an unbelievable fight. Oh, I can't wait. I think you got to think the same way. We shouldn't define these losses as bad things. If there's 2 good fighters, just let them fight. They're prize fighters after all. That's what I want to see, the best against best. 2 heavy-handed. Deontay Wilder, still arguably the biggest puncher in the division. Jie Zhang knocked down Joe Parker twice in that, and yeah, heavy hands himself. It will be a good fight after both losses to Joe Parker, who schooled both of them really, and give a good boxing lesson to them both. And yeah, can Wilder come back from his worst? He performed worse against Joe Parker, I think that's what I'm trying to say, than Zhang did, and Zhang didn't do much, but Deontay Wilder also did barely anything. So be interested to see 2 heavy hitters. I think won't be the prettiest on the eye, but I think we'll be waiting for a big knockout, and I'm sure that will happen after their last performances, looking to right the wrong and get back up there fighting the top boys in the heavyweight division. And so the next category, let's go with one of Matchroom's choices. Let's go with featherweight. And it's rumoured Eddie's featherweight, recently crowned featherweight champion with the WBA, Ray Ford, will be going up against Nick Bull from Queensbury. So yeah, Ray Ford recently, a couple of weeks ago now I think, won the vacant WBA title, well deserved, with a 12th round knockout to win. And yeah, there've been a bit of back and forth, like speculation about Ray Ford offering Nick Bull the fight, especially after Nick Bull, the split draw to Ray Vargas for that other featherweight world title on the AJ Ngannou undercard, where he's very unlucky. I had Nick Bull winning that all day long. It's very unlucky not to be a world title. It's very unlucky for this not to be a unification, which it should be, but it's good for Nick Bull going straight back in there, and yeah, that'll be a real good fight. Nick Bull unlucky, Ray Ford, new world champion. I have to give that 50-50. I couldn't tell you who wins that fight, but yeah, it's the same. It's the same as the Wilder Zhang. It's a 50-50, and the only one I say I'm 55-45 is Dubois to Hrgovic so far. But yeah, that's another great fight, and it's just already shaping up to be one of the best undercards of all time. Really, it's including the main event. Maybe there's more fights added on the prelim cards, but one of the best cards there may be of close competitive fights that we're not used to seeing. So I'm just excited to see it really. And so yeah, and now on to another of Frank's picks, which is the middleweight. And this fight, again, like the Ford Bull fight, was heavily speculated when they announced it, which weight categories do both have real good contenders in, and Frank's chosen the middleweights, and it's going to be Hamza Shiraz, supposedly coming off a real good win. Was it a first round knockout of Liam Williams in Shiraz's step up fight? Looked real good. He looks like a world title challenger, hard world title fight when he gets there, but we'll see. There's the progression, and he's going to be the Queensbury fighter, and the Matchroom fighter is going to be Amo Williams, who again, he's been putting together a good few fights. He's looking good in these fights. Well, I remember they were building up that Felix Cash fight, all that time ago, never came through because of Cash injuries and pulling out. But he's been putting together some good, a good little run with these fights, and yeah, Hamza Shiraz, Amo Williams will be the sleeper fight on the card. I think that's got a fight of the night on it personally. Arguably they're both stepping up in level, and so-and-so has got to go with this fight. And yeah, 2 young guys putting their undefeated records on the line. See, Hamza Shiraz is number 1 with the WBO, and he's number 2 with the WBC, where Amo Williams is ranked number 5. So this should be, this should be a title eliminator really. And what a fight it will be. 2 young guys putting it all on the line, making big money as they should, hopefully put together a cracking fight. And again, maybe 50-50, or maybe slightly again leaning 55-45 to Hamza Shiraz just off his last performance. But was that an aging Liam Williams? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see what happens in this. And then the final weight category chosen by Eddie Hearn was the light heavyweights, which is a very surprising pick by Eddie, and especially since in interviews he said if it's light heavyweight he will be choosing Craig Richards, which is a shock to many people. Obviously, after their previous fights respectively, Callum Smith and Ante Yard, a lot of people want that fight. I think that's a good fight. Who knows what Callum Smith is doing, if he's going to retire or he has retired. For Eddie not to pick him, as he's Eddie's Matchroom's best light heavy, minus Bivol obviously in the main event. And Ante Yard for Queensbury, who's not going to be in this fight, as reportedly he's going to be fighting Joshua Bratsy sometime soon. Interesting, this is more the second or arguably the third choice light heavyweight from Matchroom, including Bivol, and the second choice light heavy from Queensbury. Well, I'll get to the names of who they are saying that. So for Matchroom it's going to be Craig Richards, and for Queensbury it's going to be Willie Hutchinson. Craig Richards obviously has been in world title fights, lost to Bivol, came back and then lost to Joshua Bratsy. That was almost 2 years ago now. He had his comeback fight, I think it's 8 or 10 rounder, won that with almost 2 years out the ring, and going, I'm not saying straight back in the deep end, because Craig Richards has been a step above this, and getting into it, the Queensbury fighter Willie Hutchinson, just coming off a win for, it was the WBC international title, one of those titles that gets your rankings. Obviously Frank's a big fan of those ranking little trinkets that don't really mean anything. But speaking of which, it's looking at the WBC rankings, Willie Hutchinson is 13th and he's above Craig Richards at 17th. So there is arguably Willie Hutchinson is higher ranked with this governing body. I'm not too sure off the top of my head from the others. But yeah, if there was a heavy favourite out of any of the 5 fights, I think it's this one. Craig Richards has got the pedigree. It's a big step up for Willie Hutchinson, but Craig Richards has been there, done it, come short to the top guys, but I think his pedigree, he's on the comeback trail after a year and a half, 2 years out. I think Craig Richards is favourite for that, but who knows, it could be a banger fight, could be a schooling by Richards, who knows, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's looking at what the fights are going to be. If I had to give a winner and stop giving 50-50 fights, who would I go with? So I go Dubois to beat Hrgovic. Who would I give, Wilder or Zhang if I had to pick one? Zhang, so that's 2-0 Queensbury coming off that. We'll go, I'd have Shiraz to win, we're going 3-0 at the moment. They'll come back and I'll give Nick Ball or Ray Ford. Was Nick Ball unlucky? He didn't do enough in the start of the fight. Haven't seen Ray Ford. I haven't seen that much of Ray Ford personally. I've seen a bit of Nick Ball. He's got energy, good fight. Hell, let's go with British bias. Nick Ball 4-0, and I will go with Craig Richards. So I'm going 4-1 to Queensbury on this card. But yeah, let's see. That's just off the top of my head right now without any real tape to watch and going through it. But yeah, let's see what happens on the night. It'd be a great night with the undisputed light heavyweight title on the line in the main event, and yeah, another good card coming together in Saudi Arabia. And let's see what happens. Be a great night, great for the fans to watch at home. Hopefully it finishes before midnight, but probably not. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.